Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time once again. It's time for that podcast heard, well, around a few places, by tens of listeners. It's time for the Department of Understanding Humans, the podcast. That's right, the podcast, featuring your ringmasters for the day, that stupendous giggle-snorting gal, Friday herself, Rachel Wynn, and now her co-host actually has a name, that cranky clown you love to adore, Kris Meyer. And on with the show!
D.U.H, Department of Understanding Humans, yeah!
Shalom.
Hello.
How do you do?
I do fine. Let me get you raised up here a little bit. Let me raise you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how's your weekend going?
So far so good.
Yeah.
Can't really complain. It's hotter than it's hot. We went from spring to summer really fast.
Yep, within like a week.
Yep.
Yep, it's like
a little too fast.
Mm-hmm. And we're not going to get any rain anytime soon, as far as I know.
Nope.
But the Midwest is getting like tornadoes out the wazoo.
Oh yeah, they're flooded in the Midwest.
That's insane.
But not here in the South. We're a little dry and hot. We could use some of that rain.
I need to get a bird bath for my birds. They're stealing water out of the dog bowl.
Oh.
And it's so funny because I'll fill it up, the dogs will go drink from it, and then they'll go run around, and then all of a sudden I hear this really loud chirping. And I don't, I'm like, what am I hearing? And I look out, and there's a cardinal in the water bowl bathing, just happy as pie, just all in there. And then
just enjoying it,
yeah. And then a mockingbird came in, and you know how there's like a little lip on the very bottom of the bowl to help keep it from tipping over?
Right.
Well, water can collect in that little channel down there, so the mockingbird came in and started drinking the water out of that. And I'm like, oh, you guys need water. I mean, there's water sources all near here, but I don't know how many of these yard birds are like finding them. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I guess I need to, do my part to help the environment. Feed the birds so they can poop all over my car.
The green initiative. You're very good.
I am.
You're very good at that.
And I'm feeding them humanely sourced grain and seed. Okay. It's humanly sourced. It's somebody buying it at a store and then put out for them. Yes, I make fun. I'm evil.
Soy and green, humanly produced grain.
Yeah, humanly produced grain.
Soy and green.
Soyant green, because green, soyant. It's people. It's made of people.
It's people.
Soyant green is people.
It's people.
So yeah, I was thumbing through the news while I was waiting, and I was like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Today is Memorial Day, and a lot of people actually get it confused with Veterans Day, and
very much so.
Memorial Day, for those of you who have been paying attention, thank you. Those of you who have not, Memorial Day is actually the day that we celebrate those that died for our freedoms. Not the veterans who've returned or are serving, but the people who actually died, that they saw the end of a war, with their life ending, and it's very sad, and it scares me to think that the country is going in a direction that might forget what it costs to be able to run around Main Street wearing a vagina hat, screaming at the top of your lungs that you want to emasculate men. I want to know where obviously you forgot that your first freedom, your freedom of speech, came at a price. And there are wives that have lost husbands. There are husbands that have lost wives. There are parents that have lost children. There are children that have lost parents. I mean, it is a day of solemn remembrance that a lot of people chalk up to a 3-day weekend, day at the beach, barbecuing or grilling out, playing in the pool, and wearing red, white, and blue. That's enough.
Right.
You know, it's not enough. There are people out there who they bled for this country, and they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And to those who have survived losing those individuals, I commend you. My heart is with you. Please don't forget what this day really is about, because it's important. It's really, really ridiculously important. And thank you for dying for my freedom. As horribly dramatic as that sounds, it's the truth. And I am sorry for those who have lost loved ones. And that's about as down as I could start any podcast.
I can't follow that, because you echo every sentiment that I could say, mean, or want to say. To all our men and women in the armed forces, thank you for your service. To all those who have lost a loved one in the armed forces, we thank you for their service. Mm-hmm. And you are part of our family.
Yes.
So Memorial Day you spend with us.
Yes.
So anyway, moving along as we have taken a moment. So we're a little behind with the podcasting. We are slightly. We
slightly.
Things get in the way because this is not our full-time job.
Right. We do have some lives that we have to deal with.
And Rachel experienced some rushes with her work, and of course, Memorial Day was around the corner for me. So people that they don't understand how to read a calendar. Memorial Day happens every year, like Christmas, Thanksgiving happens every year. It's marked on the calendar. Oh, we forgot this was going to happen, so can you do this? Yeah. Read a calendar. Happens every year.
Do you... Now, of course, if you're just tuning in for the first time for the Department of Understanding Humans, I work in IT, and Kris does voiceover work. He does commercials. Yes. So what do you charge people for rush
yes.
work?
Yes. You just hear the calculator and the ad machine going. I have a green visor hat.
Suddenly I saw Porky Pig with his sleeves up at the gambling table.
That's right.
Yes, thank you for that.
Oh, you want it tomorrow? But that'd be $350.
$350. So I guess because I've never had to do invoicing on contract work like you do, so I'm assuming you have kind of like a fine or a fee, not a fine, a fee, a contractual obligation monetarily.
Right. There are customers and clients that I work for on a regular basis who are regular clients that have their stuff in by clockwork.
Right.
And I do those ads. And then I have the people that find me or hear word of mouth or whatnot. They go, hey, I was thinking I could get an ad and we could get it on the radio. And what people don't understand is they come to me and they go, Jesus, that's a lot for an ad. I'm not asking for that much. Well, do you understand the amount of work that I have to do? You're asking for, you're asking for it to be clean, edit, and to be broadcast worthy.
Yeah.
That just doesn't mean I just sit down in front of the computer and pull out a microphone from, Radio Shack and go, yeah, here's the commercial. This done. All right, red, and move on.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, can I have music to it? Go ahead, what?
Can you do that again, please?
I don't think I can.
Okay. I'll just have to listen back to it and enjoy it.
You'll just have to listen. You'll have to replay.
Red.
It's red. It's right. It's right.
It's commercial. Oh, I'm in a commercial together.
It's not like I'm Ben Affleck and prepare very hard for a role. I'll go, oh, God, I'm British. Hello. All right. Yeah. All right. I got it.
Have you ever gotten stuck in an accent?
What's that? Have I ever been stuck in an accent?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have actually. Okay, I was cutting an ad for a used car dealership, and they wanted me to do it in an English accent because it was regal. And I'm sorry, I say used cars. I have to say pre-owned because they're no longer used; they're pre-owned. Okay.
Okay.
Pre-owned, and it was regal, pre-owned vehicles, not cars or Chevys or anything. Pre-owned. Pre-owned vehicles. And I had to say it was regal. Yes, let's talk like this. I found myself answering the phone going, hello? Yes.
You sound like Mr. Burns.
Yeah, well, that's what they wanted, sort of, yes. Very regal.
I say. It's lovely.
Oh, I say, Commander McBride. And yes, I do get stuck in accents, and I do get stuck in voices sometimes because you start flowing and talking, and you don't snap yourself out of it very fast, and you end up talking like Stewie.
Well done, Mummy. Oh, Mama.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, that's what I do on a daily basis. And some days people go, "Oh man, that's a great you must love your job." Yeah, and I do. I love my job. And then there are days where I argue with, the person, client or customer who goes, yeah, I can go to the $5.com site and get this. Yeah, go ahead. You can get it done for $5. But I'll also tell you something else. You can also buy filet mignon for $5.
That doesn't mean it's good.
Or are you, exactly. But are you going to really know that it's beef, or is it just an animal? You get what you pay for. Always you get what you pay for. There's your lesson in life, folks.
Oh, my gosh. Actually, not always. You don't always get what you pay for because we're paying an arm and a leg
That's true.
for taxes and they're not doing their jobs. But we're not going to get on that topic.
Not going to get on that subject.
Wheeling that back in. Sorry.
Moving right along.
Moving right along as my computer tells me I have an update. For those of you who just heard that, I'm going to snooze that sucker. Yeah, timing.
You have an update.
I do. I apparently need to update my Windows patch, but that's okay. It can wait. Snooze. Snooze. So in some strange news that I was flicking through, so apparently there's going to be a magazine, a People magazine attraction at Pigeon Forge. And and so this just, so I'm going to read you the headline that caught my eye and made me go
right. I'm interested in this.
This is re-freaking tarded. Okay,
go right ahead, do it.
But
apparently
this is a thing that people want. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. Kind of like Rule 34 on the internet. Obviously, somebody wanted to make porn of it, so there it is. But this is different. So the headline reads, Diana's Fatal Ride, now a theme park attraction. And it says, Princess Diana Fatal Crash themed ride opens at amusement park.
That's got to be a joke.
No, it's not. So apparently, the not People, I'm sorry, to insult you, magazine. The National Enquirer has a theme park, an amusement park in Pigeon Forge. Everything's in freaking Pigeon Forge. And
Branson.
And it's called the National Enquirer Live, an immersive museum that launched on Friday, May 24th in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The museum, based on the publication, will offer feature replicas of Michael Jackson infamously dangling his baby from the hotel balcony and the scene of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife's murder. They said,
oh, that's terrible.
There's no blood. There's none of that. You see the car crash through the computer animation. It's projected and you see the buildings and everything in 3D presentation. And it shows the pathway as she left the Ritz Hotel and the paparazzi chasing her and the bang flash that we think blinded the driver and how it happened. It's definitely not in poor taste. ... I'm not even going to continue to read the rest of it. It's just...
No, it's just it's not important.
It is fodder for the
That is
ignorant. It upsets me
That is
to no
absolute
end.
horrible. And I'm sorry, not before I say it. I'm not saying that it's horrible. You're telling it, but it is a horrible story.
It is a horrible story. That's why I was like, oh my God.
Whoever bankrolled that, I hope they go belly up.
You know, I
really do.
I don't typically wish foulness on people, but that is in such poor taste.
I wish failure.
I wish failure. I wish absolute implosion and failure. That is why I worry about the course of where this country is going, because people pay to go to places like that.
That is terrible.
I mean,
what a wretched statement of them. You know what? I really hope it fails, and I hope it costs them millions.
I would like to see.
This was a mistake.
I would like to see a lawsuit, honestly, because there are people that are negatively affected by stuff like this, and like her family doesn't deserve this.
They've been through enough.
Can't they just let her rest in peace? I mean, shit. She got killed because of media. I mean, is there another way to say it? You're National Enquirer, and you're going to put that you must be really grasping at straws for any kind of money coming in, that you're going to do this, because let me tell you something, it's people like you that caused her death.
I mean, what are they going to do? Team up with Weekly World News and put Bat Boy on display?
I have no idea. I mean, but they're talking about oh, wow, it just took me to another article. So it's a 3D computer generated view, and there's an investor named Robin Turner. If anybody's listening to this, please find out who Robin Turner is and contact this person. I don't know if it's a male or a female, because it could be a female Robin or a male Robin. Tweet. But this is in such poor taste. This is disgusting. That's just horrible. They're saying also that people that have never been to Paris might like it, because then they'll be able to see what Paris looked like at that time.
Sure.
Yada yada. And I'm like, really? The whole thing is to you are immersing somebody into a 3-dimensional recreation of a horrible scene, of a murder scene, of a child abuse scene, and you think that's not going to have adverse reactions on people? Are you kidding me? This is negligent.
That's the furthest thing. It's not only just negligent, it's just immoral.
It is. Is it amoral or immoral?
Amoral. Yeah.
Amoral. Jeez. I mean, they're going to include. Right. They're going to include the Scott Peterson case, the JFK assassination. Holy crap! Really? Tickets are going to be $25 for adults and $19 for kids. That's right, people. Take your kids to watch John F. Kennedy get the back of his head blown out. Go for it. Scott Peterson? Seriously? Do you know what that monster did? Oh my God.
Well, here's one thing I'm going to do. We're gonna say no more attention to them, because I don't want to do any. We're almost free advertising for them. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give them any more press. Let's just not talk about them.
So
maybe they'll go away.
We'll give good press to good things. Game of Thrones is over.
Game of Thrones is done.
It is done, and I cried. I cried. I cried more at Drogon's reaction to Dany's body than anything else.
The scene that broke me was Tyrion finding Jaime and Cersei.
Oh, that was hard. That was rough, because you could see that he actually did love his siblings.
Of course, he loved his family. However, there was a lot of head scratching on that episode. Okay, I'm going to tell the fans this. The fans that are, we petitioned to have competent writers.
Jeez,
Fuck
really?
off.
You guys obviously
Okay,
don't
fuck
understand
off.
production.
I didn't thoroughly enjoy it. I will freely admit that it felt rushed. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of plot holes that you sort of looked at and went, okay, how did this? Wait, no, this okay,
Right.
and it just really threw people for a loop with the twist ending, so to say.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
It was a little strange having Brandon Stark, Bran the Broken, the three-eyed raven who goes, I can't be Lord of Winterfell. I can't be this. I can't be that. I'm the three-eyed raven.
I can't have a normal life. I'm the three-eyed raven, and yet I came down here for this.
Let's make this kid king.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think I'm here? Like, what? It was just convenient. It was a convenient plot hole. You know, just too convenient to go, oh, yeah, well, let's just, yeah. It was hurried writing. I think we should have had maybe 2 or 3 more episodes to kind of clear some things up.
Yeah.
The best part of the show to me, the idiot Ed Muir-Tully. And I always call him the idiot because that's what he is.
He's like a gesture.
He's that weak member of a lineage that you just look at and go, he stands up. They're having this whole vote of the triumvirate of all the important people of Westeros to decide who will be king. And he stands up and he said, well, I, being one of the senior lords here, the most senior, I have expert in diplomacy and and Sansa just looks at him and goes, sit down. But I'm not, sit down, uncle. Sit down. As if to go,
Just
Jesus Christ, shut up.
And then he like trips, like he bumps into the pole with his sword.
He bumps in the pole and then sits down.
That was some comic relief for that tense moment. And so a lot of people complained, and I get their complaints. It wasn't the most amazing episode ever. However, yes, they rushed and they really could have dragged a lot of that out a little bit more.
Right.
And I know that, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you take the source material and then you go off topic, da-da-da-da. There was no source material for this. He hasn't written this ending yet. So they wrote their ending. They wrote
the show, right?
Their ending for their show that George R.R. Martin consults on. And he gives them feedback of whether or not that's plausible or whatever, etc. And apparently his book is going to come out and be very different or somewhat different. And it's a little odd that the book didn't come out before this episode. But I also understand that, like, this is the thing with George. He doesn't necessarily write very often.
Right.
But one of the things that... So there was a lot of cinematography that I loved. Like when she's coming down to the dais and the dragon spreads his wings behind her. Everybody loves that scene. And so they look like her wings. It's kind of cool.
That was very cool.
I loved the appearance of Drogon in the snow. Like, you don't realize he's there, and then suddenly he sits up, and you're like, holy crap. And he sniffs Jon, and he's like, okay, you can go. I'm going to curl back up into my warmth now. See ya. You know, obviously, I already said that the scene with Drogon really broke my heart because now he's absolutely alone. His mother is dead, his brothers are dead, and he's alone in the world, the last of his kind. And Bran alludes to warging into him or trying to find him. So who knows what that would do. I think the only thing, there's a couple like open-ended questions that I have, like when Jon went north of the wall, was he just taking the wildlings back or was he leaving and going with them?
I believe he was leaving and going with them because let's face it, they exiled him to the Watch. Well, what do we need the Night's Watch for?
Right, there's no walkers anymore, and they really don't even need the wall anymore.
Wildlings aren't going to fight us anymore.
Right. And technically he was the 1,000th commander.
1000th commander.
And he was the 998th commander. From one of the things that I saw, which was interesting. But we did get that long-needed reunion with him and Ghost.
Yes.
We knew that he was the only one that could kill Dani, because he was the only one that could get close enough to her at her most vulnerable. So when he did it, it was very well done. I understand why the council was formed and had to make the decisions that it made, because at the time the Dothraki and the Unsullied had control of the city. But the one thing that was a plot hole for me, I don't remember them having that many Dothraki and that many Unsullied after all of the fighting.
It was half. They had half the Unsullied and half the Dothraki.
Jeez, it's still a shit ton of people.
But she had, and I had to rewatch a few episodes. She had 8,000 Unsullied. And then she also took the younger boys that were being trained to be Unsullied as well, which apparently equaled to another 5,000 boys.
Oh my gosh.
That they had. So she came over with 13,000 all total. Okay?
And there may have been like 1,000 in the courtyard.
Right. And there was also, they also said that the Dothraki army was 40,000 deep.
Damn. Okay. So they didn't lose all the Dothraki in the...
No, they lost half their numbers. You know? But the dragon made everything even out, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. So they could have easily taken, even at that moment, they could have taken control of the city and not let anybody even near the... Oh,
easily.
The thing. So I found that interesting, and I understand Bran's diplomacy in that. What I don't get is, after all of that, the amount of people that knew who Jon really was. And... they didn't do anything with that. See, I don't understand that.
They didn't do anything with it.
It was like...
And I don't know if they just didn't want to have Jon, Jon didn't want the throne, they didn't want anything, or they just wanted to appease the troops that were there, but at the same time, okay, they left. They could have had Jon just kind of hang out in the city and all right, they're gone. Come on. They're gone. They're gone. They're left. Come on out of hiding.
Yeah. Or, okay, now we'll let him out of... Grey Worm saw you walk past him.
Yep.
Done.
You're done.
We don't have to do this. But at the same time, maybe the whole point was because Bran was appointed and it wasn't a right of birth, whereas Jon would have been a right of birth, and that's what they were trying to change. They were trying to break the wheel. So he was elected. So I get that ish a little.
Kind of. And maybe. I think Jon's honor also said, nope, I just feel like face my crimes.
I just feel like he was thrown under the bus.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I thought like he was thrown under the bus. But,
they used him for all of this drama, and then he was just thrown under the bus. But at the same time, he ended up where he was truly most happy, north of the Wall with Tormund. I'd be happy north of the Wall with Tormund. Do you think Tormund probably turned around and went back to Winterfell? Like, oh, hey, I heard that, Jaime died. How about now?
Maybe.
The big woman.
But, now you got to remember, Brianna Tarth she's captain of the Kingsguard.
Yeah, she's captain. And she, in true character, wrote some very nice things about Jaime in the Knight's Book.
She did.
Even though...
Even though Jaime didn't deserve some of it, she wrote kind things about Jaime.
Who was born with his sister and died with his sister. I don't want to die this way.
Maggie the Frog said, "You will die with your younger sibling's hands at your throat."
And technically she did.
Because in the pose, Jaime was holding her face and it looked like his hands were at her throat.
Very interesting. Way to go, Maggie the Frog. Maggie the Frog.
Maggie the Frog. Maggie the Witch.
So, I am excited to go watch the documentary they did, because they show a lot of behind the scenes, including what it was like for Kit Harington to read.
I was just watching that.
How was it?
It's very good.
Good. I'll go check it out. Speaking of checking it out, we have started a new series on Netflix. It's called The Order.
Uh-huh.
And it's about magic and werewolves and interesting writing. A narcissistic warlock who's trying to take over the world. You know, the good stuff.
Typical stuff, you know.
Typical storylines, because nobody can come up with an original idea anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of, you know, they're college-age students being stupid, and the adults are even more stupid or stupider. Kind of like, you know,
Right.
a lot like mirroring the truth of the world today with people being stupid, but we're not going to go there.
Right.
That's all I got.
Hey. Well, in other news, Aladdin, the picture that a lot of people thought may not do that good, is actually doing pretty good at the box office.
Is it now?
It's actually doing pretty good. There's a couple of things. I mean, a lot of people that are reviewing it going, yeah, the musical numbers are not great.
It's because it's not
It's not Robin Williams singing the genie's part.
Yeah.
But they're saying Smith is doing his best in the role. And let's face it, you're having somebody follow a huge, iconic role
Yeah.
that Williams did and go, all right, top it. Or do just as good.
Or do it justice.
Yeah, do it justice.
You know, I mean...
Nobody's really going to step in and do the role justice.
No. Now, I mean, I know of people who've done impersonations of Robin Williams that could totally nail his voice or that feeling. Jamie Costa is one of them. He's a really great, you know, up-and-coming independent actor. He's also done Han Solo and a bunch of other really cool just character imitations. But for a live action, I understand they, you know, and I think he would probably do pretty good in the live action too. I just can't see Will Smith. I mean, I just keep thinking like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and being silly, but Smith can deliver some pretty good stuff. So I'm curious to see how it ends up. If it's doing good in the box office, I mean, I think a lot of the fantasy stuff is going to start doing pretty good, considering the fact that people are trying to escape right now.
Right, exactly.
However, I don't...
Avengers.
Like what? Oh, Avengers.
Like Avengers.
Yes, Avengers did
which
very
is,
good.
Sorry, James Cameron. Surpassed all your movies. Aw. Aw. Did you talk shit about comic book movies? Aw. Did it surpass yours? Yes, it did. And who's the really true winner of it all? Well, Disney, because they own everything that has been out there.
So I would like to figure out, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to take this yet, being the fact that I live in Georgia, we are being boycotted. The state...
Oh, yeah, you're being boycotted.
The state is being boycotted by actors. They're saying that they're going to refuse to come back down to finish their work because of the abortion ban. Alabama, similar issue, but I know that with Georgia being kind of Hollywood Part 2, there's been a lot of, production companies down here using Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs as location shoots. I mean, even Avengers used some of it. So my concern is that Hollywood yet again is getting too big for its britches and forgetting what they really do for this country and for this world, and that they really have no political soapbox. And they don't live here. They don't vote here. They don't have the right to tell us how we're supposed to vote, how we're supposed to pass our laws. And what's even more important is, indirectly, while these feminists and these emasculated men who want to jump on the bandwagon are yelling, "Don't tell us what to do with our bodies," they are telling us what to do with our bodies. because they're telling us that the abortion ban is unconstitutional, which it's not. There's nothing unconstitutional about an abortion. You do not have a constitutional right to get an abortion. It is a moral issue that you have to take up with yourself and your spiritual source. That's on you. Does that make me pro-choice? Maybe. I choose life. That's my personal view. I'm not going to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body. I'm not going to tell a man what he can or cannot do with their body. However, there comes a point in time where I have to decide how I'm going to contribute to the bullshit. Am I going to continue to buy movie tickets and let that money go to these people that have more money than they know what to do with, and they're not even using it well to help society around them? Or am I going to boycott the boycotters? And I'm kind of like, what purpose? I don't know if I'm sending the right message with that. Because then, little Bobby, who can't get a job anywhere else but the movie theater shoveling popcorn for me, is out of a job because people are, because I'm not paying for my ticket. You know what I mean? And so, granted, he could go to McDonald's and probably do just as good. But I'm just like, so I'm kind of, one of the arguments, the She Podcast convention that we're supposed to be doing stuff for in October, they had a conversation in the forum, and somebody actually said, have you thought about boycotting Georgia? And the person who's running it was like, I am contractually obligated to continue with the hotel. And, it doesn't serve any good for us not to support Georgia or their economy based on their political decisions. It just doesn't. Whether I agree or disagree, that's not a good message to send. This is about podcasting, not about abortions. And I was like, okay, that was kind of well said, but it let me know just how much feminism runs through the podcast community. So I'm just kind of like, oh, wow, what did I get myself into? I'm a conservative podcaster who doesn't agree with, I don't, it's very left, and I'm not left. I wouldn't say left. I'm going to say liberal, progressive, because it's not even about politics. Having a conservative standpoint is not necessarily political. And I've tried to explain that to people. And, it's like, you can have more liberal, progressive thoughts, but not vote Democrat, Right. Or you can have liberal and progressive ideas and be more of a libertarian. So it's interesting to me that the minute you bring up those words, people immediately go to politics. So I'm just trying to think with the entertainment industry, there's a handful of conservative movies that are out that have gotten rave reviews and lots of money. But do you punish everyone based on the few? I mean, again, we've got the loudest voices, the loudest wheel is getting, squeaky wheels getting the grease, right? So does all of Hollywood feel like this? Does every Hollywood actor feel like this thought, because, for a while there, we were hearing one after the other about abortion and politics and things like that. Meryl Streep telling us if it wasn't for Hollywood, we wouldn't have culture, which is bullshit. I just think it's interesting that, more and more we're getting some of these older actors and even some of the younger ones that really don't even know any better. They're towing the company line as far as some of these really out there thought processes. So that was a total tangent and soapbox, and I apologize. But I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to go see Aladdin. That's what I was getting at. I don't know if I want to go see Aladdin in the theater and spend that money, or wait till it comes to something that doesn't put money in their pockets, like Netflix.
Right.
That was my point 5 minutes later.
3 hours later.
Dan started doing that in the car the other day. He was talking about videoing, I think Apollo. I think he was talking about the dog, and he was gonna do here we are looking at the red husky known as Apollo.
3 hours later.
He is still going after Mummy's sock.
Oh no, I understand. That's your home state, and you're having people come in and say, "This is what we're gonna do." You have like Alyssa Milano marching into the governor's office,
right?
How stupid are you?
Do you vote here? No, but no.
Well, do you have residency here? No.
No, and don't interrupt me.
For her, she can go away. Okay, Alyssa Milano can go away. On the whole subject of it, I'm on almost a neutral kind of point with it. I don't support abortion, but I'm also not against it because there's instances where you have to have it.
And that's where that's where I kind of fall into the pro-choice side of it. I'm against abortion.
Here's how I am as an American. The gays want to marry, let them marry. The rednecks want their guns, give them their guns. You want to be a Christian and pray, be a Christian and pray. You want to be an atheist and don't believe, be an atheist and don't believe. Okay? That's what we should be as a country. All right? That's where it all lies down. Mm-hmm. Land of the free. All right? And if you don't like your neighbor, well, guess what? You don't have to like your neighbor. But you also can't go over and smack them around and all this other kind of crap.
Right.
You don't like what's going on? Well, they're all fighting the whole abortion thing, but here's the bottom line. There was a case called Roe versus Wade that negated everything that's going on. Well, now you have all these states that are moving towards it, and I support it to a degree, and then I don't support it to a degree. I'm very, very on the fence and divided about it because I have some personal feelings towards it.
Right.
Okay. So on that, I'm done talking about it, and I'm moving on.
Okay.
I'm done. End the story. End the chapter. We close the book. Written it. We done with that subject. Moving on.
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But I do have a funny tale.
Okay.
I do have a funny tale, and it involves you with the NFL here.
Oh no.
Recently, we have lost in my home state. We have lost Bart Starr.
Oh yes.
Bart Starr was a phenomenal athlete, but he was also a very kind and generous person.
He was a quarterback, wasn't he?
He was a quarterback for Green Bay. He was the first quarterback in the Super Bowl. Well, no, yeah, Super Bowl. So anyway, or Super Bowl III. Sorry, I'm sorry. Kind of trying to think of where he was in the Super Bowl reign, but he was the Packers quarterback from like 65 to 71, or 63 to 71.
He was like 80 something.
Yeah, 85.
Jeez.
I had the pleasure of getting to know Mr. Starr.
Did you really?
I did, because somehow Dad and Bart Starr played golf together.
Interesting.
On an occasion, Dad, he lives in Birmingham, so one of the best stories is, this is kind of, way, way back, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Bart's at the hardware store, drugstore, whatever, getting Christmas lights. Uh-huh. And he had special ordered these lights to get the house on. Dad and Bart talk, and hey, how you doing? So we're waiting in line for customer pickup. And the girl behind the counter has an Alabama button and Roll Tide this, all this other stuff in her Christmas paraphernalia. Now, Bart played for Alabama, okay? He played for the University of Alabama. You sit here in the city of Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, where have you, in Bart Starr, you know who the hell he is.
Right.
He goes up, he goes, yes, I'm here to pick up an order for Starr. Starr. Okay, what's the name? And he's very polite about it. He goes, Bart Starr. How do you spell that? Starr. And men behind us have these pained looks at the woman like, are you kidding me? So she goes, Star? How do you say that again? Star? That doesn't make any sense how you spell that name. Yeah, that's my name, ma'am. That's how it's spelled.
Starr. How hard is that?
We have a light order for a Bart Starr, Starr. I need light order for Bart Starr, Starr. I don't know where these lights are. Who are you again, Bart Starr? I mean, people are acting like you're somebody.
Good
and
Lord.
People in line are just, it's almost like the scene from Indiana Jones where faces are melting, because the Ark of the Covenant's been opened.
We just watched that, too.
And my dad in the back goes, Jesus, lady, you're wearing an Alabama pin and you don't know who Bart Starr is? For crying out loud. He started shouting off. And Bart, just as humble as can be, is kind of chuckling about it. And he gets his lights and leaves. Well, from then on, every time Bart and Dad were going to go play golf, every so often, Bart would call the house, and if he couldn't get Dad, he'd go, hey, Don, it's Bart. Bart Starr, Starr. I wanted to know if we're on for call.
That's funny.
So what a very genuine, kind man. And that you can't go in the city of Birmingham, even in the state, and not have someone say, this is how generous, nice, kind he was.
That's awesome.
Godspeed to you, Bart.
That is some good stuff. That is a good story.
Good story. I think it's a good story to end the podcast on.
I do too. I actually have an NFL story for you also.
You cut it out on me.
I what?
You cut in and out on me.
I cut in and out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have an NFL story to add to that.
Go right ahead.
I have reconnected. Excuse me. I have managed to reconnect with a former Jets player on Facebook.
You mean Mr. Gastineau?
Yes. He is going through rounds of chemotherapy after fighting cancer. And it is taking its toll on him, but he's grateful. And he is actually, if you go and look him up, he actually is very welcoming of well wishes and conversations on Facebook. And I'm very humbled by the fact that, I get to sort of reconnect with him. He was one of the players that was very kind to me growing up. And, I don't know what's going to happen as far as his recovery goes, but I feel like I have been given a nice little chance to reconnect with somebody who actually had a really good influence on my life and on people's lives. And so as I find out more, I will share more. But right now I think he's in his second week of radiation.
Ooh.
And so it's kind of beating him up a little bit. And if anybody knows who Mark Gastineau is, number 99 from the New York Jets, he is a very large man, very tall, very muscular,
He was dominant.
He was huge. He was dominant. He was part of the sack exchange with several other amazing football players back in the 80s. And so to see pictures of him now where the cancer and the radiation and the chemotherapy have just beat him up, it's just like you get a sense of just how violent cancer can be and how dangerous the treatments are. When my mom died in 2015 from melanoma that had spread to her lung, they could not treat her because she wouldn't have survived the treatments. And so that's why we ended up just making her comfortable until she died.
Right.
But it is amazing to see the communities that have surrounded him with love and prayers. And he is a God-fearing man. He talks about that a lot on his Facebook page. So while we have lost a legend in Mr. Starr, Starr, we
Starr.
We still have other legends that are out there that, we can support and enjoy them while they're still here.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
We'll send some well wishes to Mr. Gastineau.
I will do so. I think I might forward him this podcast so he can know that we talked about him.
Please do. Please do. I was a fan. I was a fan of him.
Oh, I was a fan too.
I mean, I'm a Bears fan. I'm not gonna lie. And it's been rough for the Bears. But I had to love as a kid watching Mark play
because he did the touchdown dances.
Yep.
I think he even got fined for them.
Well,
it happens. Anyway, that's podcast.
That's it.
You
We're
guys
out.
Have a good week. We'll see you in a couple days.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for joining us here at the Department of Understanding Humans, also known as DUH. Just remember, this is our circus. These are our monkeys. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media outlets. You can find all of our podcasting streams and feeds at our website at www.dawebsite.com. That's D.U.H website.com. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.